He hasn't gone with just me yet, so I'm trying to like. We've been taxiing around, like, so I'll get him in there, put his headsets on, we just taxi around the runway. I know, it's so freaking cute. I think interest rates are going to come down. I think it's going to be temporary. I think it's probably going to be, it'll probably be end of the second quarter or beginning of the third quarter of 2024. If I were to guess, I think that's when it'll come down. I don't know if it's going to stay down long. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just, 8 months to a year of them being lower, and then we see them come back up. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens there with the buyers, right? And if we see value still increase, or if we see it actually still level out with interest rates. Interest rates obviously it's the biggest factor in determining what your monthly payment is. There's a huge difference in a $300,000 loan on a 7% interest versus a 3% interest. But as prices increase, right, and we still haven't seen wages, the American wage, right, has not kept up with the cost of assets of real estate for 20 plus years. I think until we see wages actually increase, we're not going to see. I don't think property value can continue to appreciate at the same level it is. Especially with older people, right? The boomers are retiring in mass right now, right? I think they've got maybe another 2 years, and pretty much all of them will be, of retirement age. That's going to open up, I think, more inventory, because I think there's a lot of people who they still live in that 5-bedroom house in, pick your suburb. Their kids have been out for 15 years, and they're sick of cleaning that third bathroom, right? But I think they're trying to time the market, right? And I think there's also maybe a little bit of, fear in the market, right? All those people, they lived through 2008, and, they don't want to go through those same pains. So I think there's a lot of people right now who are kind of waiting to see what's happening in the market. And I think over the next 2 years, we'll see more and more inventory open up. That is specifically, that generation saying, hey, you know what? I'm sick of shoveling snow. I'm moving to, Austin, or I'm moving to Florida, or moving to wherever, someplace, even if it's, just a little bit further south, just to get out of the cold Michigan winters. Right? You buy a starter home in Grand Rapids, in downtown, or, someplace else. You buy your first smaller home, and then you move up, right? Average home buyer, I think, lives in their home 5 to 7 years before they sell it, right? And hopefully move up. Average person, I think, owns, is it 3 or 4 houses a year? Or in their lifetime? 3 or 4 houses? Yeah. In their lifetime? In their lifetime, it's like 3 or 4 houses. So that's the goal, right? Is that hopefully inventory is opening up in these other markets, and you've got, these people selling and then making that next step up. So millennials are actually, I think it's the oldest generation when it comes to buying their first home, like ever, right? Like the average millennial didn't buy their first house until they were like in their late 20s. It might be as high as early 30s now, which is, wild. When you compare it to boomers who they bought their first home at 20.
27 and hasn't bought a home yet.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, and that's totally normal these days. But when you compare it to earlier generations, they were buying their first home in their early 20s. These videos really kick off. Somebody will recruit me.